Alright, today we're going to be replacing the ABS sensor, 2004 Chevy Trailblazer. This is my truck. Have been having some issues with the ABS light coming on. It's the amber color or yellowish orange light that'll pop on your dash. Speed sensor will go bad, causing the light to go on and come off, and give you some issues with your ABS where it doesn't feel right, or if you'll just start pulsating at different periods where even if you're going 5 miles an hour, maybe 30 miles an hour, hitting the brakes. So taking the actual sensor off is real easy, but it's just a little time consuming just to get to it, because you have to take off your wheel, your rotor, and your caliper assembly. So after you take off your wheel, your caliper will sit up there. I already took it off. And take your rotor off, and sitting down here is where the actual sensor is. Now it is screwed in with a Allen bolt, and the Allen wrench you'll need is a 5 metric in order to take that out. And you just kind of follow the sensor itself all the way around and just keep popping off the different plugs wherever you see it's plugged in at. They're just little clips attached to the frame, that's all they are. Take a screwdriver, pop them out. And then finally the other end of the new sensor just plugs into that, and that also has a clip that clips into the frame. So we'll go over the tools on everything you're going to need exactly, just in case you're not familiar with how to take off your brakes and the rotors. Alright, here we got, should be most of the stuff that I used. Got a breaker bar with a 3/4 inch socket on it that I use to take off my lug nuts. Use a tire iron too, whichever you prefer. You need a socket, wrench. The first socket that I use is a 17. That's for this bolt here. That bolt is on your caliper or your brake assembly. That sits right here. That'll be the first one you pull off. So you take that off, and then take this off real quick. This will actually just pop right out, and then in order to get your caliper assembly off, you have these bigger bolts that will actually connect into this. That's why I had it sitting there. But the caliper bolts here are 18 metric, and couldn't quite get it off with just the normal socket wrench. So I had to get my deep well impact grade 18 metric out. I put that on the breaker bar. I use that to break it loose, because being here in Michigan in freezing cold weather and salt, it just kind of locks up after a while. So you might need some extra leverage to help pop it loose. The new sensor that I got sits here in the bag. Looks just identical to the other one. The stuff that I use to take that off, the Allen's here, it's a 5 metric, and that's how small that bolt is that I showed you where to unscrew it from earlier. So make sure you don't lose that. I use a really small screwdriver just to pop all those clips off of the frame, and then that's the pair of pliers that I use to pull the bottom part of that sensor straight out of the hole. And then before you go to do any of the work on actually taking out the sensor, make sure you take out your negative battery cable if you're dealing with electronics. If you've never taken off your negative battery cable before, it's just a 8 metric wrench or socket. My negative battery cable already got disconnected, obviously. Just take it on the back side and then just unscrew it and just let it sit there. Once you get everything put back together, screw it back in. Then, yeah, that should be it. Any other questions, leave a comment and I'll try to give you an answer.